C'est si bon de partir n'importe où, bras dessus, bras dessous, en chantant des chansons. C'est si bon de se dire des mots doux, des petits riens du tout, mais qui en disent long. En voyant notre mine ravie, les passants.
White shirts now red, my brother, no sleeping. You're on your tippy toes, creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you or please. I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like a really love guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, my seducer that type. I'm the bad guy.
such.